Hi there, welcome back to the Purl Up Dye Podcast. My name is Jaden and welcome to my channel. I have no idea what episode this is, but anyways, it is a knitting podcast, also some Flosstube and a little bit of sewing, although I don't think I have any sewing today. But yeah, so in this podcast, I like to just talk about my knitting, what I've been doing for cross stitch, a little bit about my business, and just what I've been up to. So I last saw you a month ago, so I do have a few things to talk about, some new things. But first, where you can find me around the internet is you can find me on Instagram as Little Prairie Purl. You can find me also as Midknit Cravings. That's the company that my sister and I own together. And also on Ravelry, you can find me as Creations on a Whim. I really need to compile them all so they're all the same, but it is what it is. So anyways, I think I'm going to start with knitting today. I think that's what I usually start with. I've only kind of done like 3 floss tubes along with the knitting. So yeah, I think so. So we'll start with the knitting because that's what most of you are here for. I'll start with what I'm wearing. So I have last podcast, I don't even think I'd cast it on. Had I cast it on? I don't remember. I should have reviewed that. But I was talking about, anyways, I was doing a test knit for Vanessa Smith. Yes, I must have at least had it started. I don't know. I don't know. I really should review, but I didn't. So anyways, I was test knitting a sweater for Vanessa Smith. She is a designer out of down in the States. And she had this sweater that I'm wearing is called Julissa. And she's had it out. It's coming up to its 10th anniversary. And so she's re-releasing it as a more size inclusive pattern. And so she called for a multitude of new testers. So I was testing the extra large size, which I think was the 44-inch bust. And I finished it with long sleeves. All my ends are woven in. It's been blocked. It's been worn like 3 or 4 times. And I am in love with this sweater. Like, I can't even tell you how much in love with this sweater I am. I will stand up and see. I can't back up any. Anyways, I say this every week. Need a better setup, but it is what it is. But yeah, so it comes down low hip, kind of at the top of my bum. And yeah, look at that cable. It's so beautiful. So it's like there's 3 cables that are running throughout it, and then this lace cable, no, not lace cable, lace detail. And I love that the sleeves have the cable as well. They don't have the lace, but just the cable, and it starts at the top of the shoulder, which you can see. So yes, this pattern, I finished it, oh goodness, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. A week and a half, and then I had to block it, and then I had to weave in all the ends, and I was doing helical knitting, so I was holding 2 balls of yarn. I talked about it a little bit last week, but I hold 2 balls of yarn, and I'm alternating in the round, not at a specific point, so I never get like that traveling, where your yarns cross over. You never have to cross your yarns over to catch them or anything. It's a great technique. If you haven't looked it up yet, pause the video and go check it out because it's amazing. So I did that to avoid pooling, and I think it did pretty good. I mean, this was all one dye lot. I had 9 skeins. I used up over half of one just to do my swatch. Because it was a big swatch, and I had to do it in the round, which meant I cut it, and that was all throwaway. But and I still have 1 full ball left plus a bunch of little remnants. So at this size, I followed it pretty much exact. I did make some changes. So the changes that I made to this pattern, with Vanessa's permission, because it was a test, I didn't want to just go ahead and, make all the changes. But I changed the neck a little bit. Not the neck itself. The neck is exactly as written. But when I got the sleeves done and everything and I tried it on, I found that the neck was getting a little too wide. It was coming out a little far for what I personally like for my sweaters. My neck always gets cold, and then I feel cold, and then I get chilled, and then I can't warm up because I've got the worst circulation. So I wanted something up a little higher. So I just did like a single crochet chain all the way around the collar. So what I did is I just picked up, I crocheted one, then crocheted two, skipped one, crocheted in the, so crochet two, skip one, crochet two, skip one, a single crochet. And that makes it so that the ribbing stops the stretching because the crochet doesn't have that give. And so I found that that is holding my neck really nice and sturdy, and I'm not getting the stretching out. So love that. The other thing I changed is that she does have in the pattern, she has waist shaping and then hip shaping. So that's what gives it this gorgeous hourglass figure. Oh, love, 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 love. Here, I'll show you so you can see what I'm talking about. So in here, she has you do waist shaping. And so I have a really short waist or high waist. I don't know. Whatever I have. It decreases from my bust, the widest point of my bust to where my wrist or my waist. It's very short in here. So with the way that she had written the pattern, it was for a more less extreme than what I personally have as my body type. So I reworked she helped me rework the rate of decreases for my particular shape. And so I can't remember if it was like 9 or something like that, like you're supposed to decrease every 9. I decreased every 5 so that I had it was shorter. It decreased really quickly. And then I did the reverse. I think I actually did the hip increases the same as written. So I got a more customized shape. I did do some bust darts here. She does have bust darts to keep it from popping up if you've got a large bust like I do. Having bust darts helps because it gives you the extra fabric you need to fit the girls in so that the front of your sweater isn't riding up. So you're not constantly like pulling your sweater down. That was genius. I've never done bust darts before, but it wasn't hard. It was just knitting back and forth with short rows. The only tricky part was that it did come across the lace and the cable. So you do have to do the cable and the lace in reverse, like you're doing it on the purl side. But her instructions are very, very clear. That was really easy. I only messed up once and I was able to take it back because I was like, why are these purl two together? Shouldn't they be purl, like slip, purl? I don't know. In my head, I had the things reversed and I didn't trust the pattern. When I got to the right side, they were backwards. I'm like, oh, see, now she's smarter than me. That's why she wrote the pattern. So trust the pattern. And then the only other thing that I did differently was the sleeve decreases. So again, she had it written for a standard basic shaping, but of course, because everybody's body is different, everybody needs to, might need to tweak it a little bit. So I did knit an entire sleeve and I knitted to here and I thought that it was fitting really good. So I continued and I went all the way, bound it off, tried it on, and it was screaming tight, like really, really tight. It was stretching these stitches and it just didn't look amazing. So I debated. And I talked to my sister and she's like, if you're not happy with it, you know what you're going to say. I'm like, I know. So I ripped it out and I'm much happier with it. So I don't remember. I think with these decreases, I think she had you decreasing every 5, like knitting 5 rounds and then doing a decrease. So it was quite a quick decrease. I changed it to the decreases, kept the numbers the same for the extra large size, but I read the instructions for the extra small size. And I did the decreases that were recommended for that, which was like every 9 or 10 or something like that. So I did end up with fewer decreases in the end. So my wrist isn't as snug as the pattern calls for, but it's not a loose, how do I show it? There we go. Duh. Anyways, it's not a loose thing and it's not screaming tight. It's actually just perfect. And then the ribbing here, the only thing I changed was, I did redo the bind off about 3 times because I was trying to find, I did like a Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy bind off and it flared really bad. And then sometimes I like to do the the surprisingly stretchy bind off like every second or third stitch. So I'll do like 2 regular bind offs and then a stretchy bind off. And I still found that was flaring too much. So I just pulled out it again and I just did a regular bind off, and there's still lots of room. It's not super stretchy. Obviously this is as far as it goes, but I don't really need it up. Like if I'm washing dishes or I'm doing anything like washing my hands at the sink, this gives me enough, enough room without stretching it all out. And then I just pull it down. And I have the bane of my existence since childhood is my sweaters have always sat here because I have really long arms, like disproportionately long arms for my body. And so what I loved about this is I just kept knitting until I figured it was long enough, and they're long. They come, when I stretch out my hands and stretch out my arms, my thing doesn't ride up. And yeah, when I'm standing, they come to about here. It gives me about another inch or so. And I love it because, yeah, if any of you have long arms, you understand commercial sweaters always are too short. So generally I wear my sweaters pushed up to my elbows or up to like mid, whatever this is called. What part of the arm is this? Like from elbow to wrist, somewhere halfway. So for the most part, I usually only ever knit sweaters that go to my elbow or 3/4 length because I'm just in that habit of like pushing my sleeves up. So I think this is like, besides cardigans that I've bought from the store that have purposely long arms, this is the first sweater that I've ever really had with long arms that fits me properly. And the overall fit too, I couldn't be happier. I love everything about this sweater. So if you don't have the pattern yet, she is about to re-release it. I don't know what her date is. I'm not sure if she has one. It's coming up soon. I believe it's been fully tested now, and she sent the pattern to her tech editor to give it one final go through, and then she's got to upload like new photos, and then she'll be releasing it. I haven't heard a date yet, although I didn't check the Slack group. Sorry, Vanessa. I haven't checked in there. I finished it and then I forgot about it. So, but yes, I love it. So definitely recommend this pattern. And it was a challenge. I'm not going to like say that it was a super easy knit. It wasn't, because I wouldn't consider it a beginner pattern because of this specifically, the cables and the lace, and it has you doing a lot of things at once. So if you're a beginner knitter or beginner sweater knitter, start with something simple, but this is not doable. Does that make any sense? Like, you can do this. She is very clear with her instructions, but I would at least familiarize yourself with how to do cables and do a lace, because yeah, there's just a lot going on in this pattern with the bust starts and the waist shaping, the arm shaping, and traveling with this, and yeah, because you're also working this, so you end up at one point with 8 markers, and if you mess those up, then everything gets skewed up. So anyways, don't be afraid of the pattern. She's very clear. Every time I thought I had a question, I would find a little note in her pattern addressing that exact thing. And she's also extremely responsive when you ask her a question. So if you're adventurous, absolutely. If you're like an adventurous beginner, I would give it a try, but I'm not generally afraid of knitting too much. It's just string and sticks, and I can throw it out, or not throw it out. Oh my goodness, don't throw it out. I can frog it out if it's not working. It just, so yeah. Anyways, all that to say, love this sweater, highly recommend it. Be on the lookout for when it gets re-released, because she will have a few changes in there of things that she needed updating. And that is pretty much the extent of my knitting. I worked like stink on this sweater to get it done in time for this test to be finished. And I finished it with like 3 days to spare. And then I kind of was like, oh my goodness, I've knit so much. I mean, you can never really knit too much, but I just needed a break. So I picked up my cross stitch, but I also picked up a new hobby, which you can kind of see here if you can tell what it is. If you follow me on Instagram, on my Little Prairie Purl Instagram, you'll have already seen it, but I wanted to show you guys my projects, my newest project for Yarny goodness. Let's see. It's not going to cooperate with me here. 1 sec. There we go. I have a loom. So you can't really tell, and I don't really want to move my camera setup very much because then I'll never get it adjusted properly again. But and I can't take it off. I got myself a loom stand. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So about 2 years ago at Knit City, so 2019 was the last Knit City I went to, I wanted to get myself a loom, and that was kind of like my big purchase. I wasn't planning on really buying any yarn or anything notion-y. I was like on the hunt. I wanted to get a rigid Heddle loom from Ashford. So luckily the guys, okay, so the Ashford Loom Company was started, like 7 years ago or something by the family. And at Knit City in the Bad Anna's booth, they were sponsoring Ashford Heddle looms, and well, Ashford, I guess. And the son of the founder and another employee, I think, I'm not really sure. I can't remember who it was, but it was the son of the founder and someone else had flown from Australia and were working the booth. So I was lucky enough to be able to speak with them directly and show them kind of like the weights of yarn that I really wanted to work with, and told them what I was planning, basically just like scarves, and I wanted to start working through some stash. And I was able to talk to them and try out some of the looms. And he recommended me to get this guy. So this one is a 16-inch sample it rigid Heddle loom. And so it can do up to 16 inches of warp. So warp is your, here I'm going to get all super fancy like I know what I'm talking about. Warp is your vertical threads, and your weft is your horizontal. Yes, I think so. Your warp is your vertical and your weft is your horizontal. So I don't remember where I was going with that. So anyways, I tried it out. I really liked it. I bought a couple of different sized reeds. So the reeds are the things that go up and down and like beat your yarn and you do all the things. And yeah, so I've been really happy with this, but I've only made 2 items so far, and both of them were out of cotton, like just Bernat cotton. And then I got some like fingering weight mercerized cottons. And I made myself a washcloth, which was okay, but they were really uneven and just kind of generally terrible. And the first one I did, the Bernat one that I did was, I gave it to my kids for a doll blanket, not a doll blanket. Like it was really small. It was like this. So a doll rug for their little doll house or whatever. They have those 18-inch dolls. And so like in front of the beds or, you know, their room. And it was super cute. So they were really happy with that. I'm like, okay, that was my first project. And then my second project was a hand towel for the kitchen with the mercerized cotton. And it wasn't like really shiny. It wasn't like crochet cotton. It's still absorbent. It's really quite nice. But yeah, again, it shrunk. Like I'd never used it before, so I didn't take really into consideration the shrinkage. And so it's like really long, but really narrow. It's quite ridiculous, actually. So that was my second project. And I was like, well, I'm learning something every time. So my third project I've cast on, I had some Knit Picks Chroma, which is a single ply yarn, and it was really beautiful, and it was gradient, and I used it for my warp. And then I was also using Chroma, but just a plain vanilla for my weft. And every time I beat down, like I got it all onto the loom and everything, and it was looking great, I thought. And actually, maybe I can move over and show you guys a little bit better. Maybe instead of moving the camera, I'll just move my butt. I'll bring it over here like it's talking to you, and you can learn all about it with me. So anyways, you can see my warp threads here, up here. And then I've got some going down here. I can't unwind it and show you guys because it's a bear to like get the tension figured out again. But anyway, so I had warped my loom with the Chroma, and it was really fuzzy here. Still can't really see, can you? It was really fuzzy in here, and I couldn't figure out. And then all of a sudden I was like, it kept getting fuzzier and fuzzier. And then all of a sudden I noticed that there was something going on in my weft, and I realized that one of my warp strings had snapped and another one had snapped. And these were getting fuzzier every single time. And I figured out single ply yarn doesn't have very much twist. Obviously, it's single ply. I know this about knitting, but why it didn't occur to me for weaving, because I'm a beginner and I just figure every yarn is yarn, right? It's like typical beginner. Anyways, every time you move this up, like into the up position, now I can't really show you because okay, so you're moving it up and you're separating these threads. I don't know if you can really tell. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so you move it up and these ones come up. And there's, in the reed, there's some resistance because it's rubbing against these plastic things, and there's a little hole right here that half of the threads are in. So you do this, and then you run your yarn through on your shuttle, and then you take this and you beat it, and you push this down, and then you put it in the down position. So this is really awkward. I don't know why I thought I should show you guys a lesson in weaving, but okay, so then it goes down, and then it pushes some of the threads down. So anyways, all that to say, there is a lot of friction going on the yarn, especially the warp yarn. I'm just going to put it in a resting position. Here we go. So there's a lot of tension on this, and then there's a lot of rubbing as you're pulling it up and you're pushing it down and you're pulling it towards yourself. So just constant rubbing and wearing on these warp threads. And so that's what was happening, was all that wear and tear was causing sorry, now I got to adjust my seat again. All that wear and tear was rubbing and like pushing and pulling and doing all the things there. So I was wearing out my warp threads as I was doing it. And so they were getting thinner and thinner. And when I looked at my warp afterwards, after I snapped 2 of them, I looked and all of them were like hair thin. I was like, oh dear. And of course, it's already been like tied onto your loom and you've already cut all the ends. So now you have like all these lengths of yarn that's basically useless. Anyways, long story short, I had to cut it all off my loom. And now my kids have another doll carpet. So I only got this far. Like I was not very far in when I started snapping threads or yarn. So I was like, well, dang it. So this one's a new project. And I'm just using some of some old deep stash yarn from when Tara and I first started Midknit Cravings, when we tested out 2 colors, which ended up being like repeat colors, but these were the first renditions of it. So the gray in this one is called Casual Friday, which is still available. It is a gray yarn with blue and black speckles. And then there's a dark blue here. You can see it running through it. That one's called Twilight. It's also still available. And then this one, the lighter blue, which I'm using for my weft, is called Mom Jeans. It's been discontinued, but we've replaced it with something very similar called Passport. And yeah, this is just a really simple, my husband helped me warp it and design it. This is going to be for him. So we've got like an inch or so of this gray and then a little bit of this blue. And then there is over here, beep, beep, beep. There's a little bit more of this Mom Jeans right here. And then more dark blue. And then it ends with the same even amount of gray, which is on this side. And then the majority of the warp is done with the Mom Jeans color, but I do have some gray running in it for stripes. And then he has a pair of socks that I knit for him I think I cast them on in May. They're Star Wars inspired Han Solo colorway by Mustache Yarn. Anyways, the colors matched this really good. So I have a little ball, like 4 grams, 5 grams maybe left of that. With Mustache Yarns, she divides her sock sets into 2 even ones with exactly the same matching stripes. So when I knit his socks, they were long enough and where he liked them. And so I had 2 exactly even balls of yarn left over. So I do have some striping in this scarf. And then when I get close to the other end, I will put in the second ball and he'll have striping so it matches. He probably won't have matching ends because I don't know how to measure yet. I don't know how to tell once it's on my, wrapped around my bar here, how to measure it. Like when I tell you I'm a beginner, I've made 3 failed projects and this is my first one that I'm hoping actually turns out. So basically we're still in practice mode, but I'm really, really liking it. One of the reasons that I wasn't really doing much with it, even though I've always wanted to learn how to use a loom and do this weaving, but this was really inconvenient to use for me. I didn't have a good place in my house. I live in a fairly small house. It's only like 850 square feet. So I don't have a lot of room for things. And I could sit at the kitchen table, but then our kitchen chairs are just like benches. They don't have backs. So it was really uncomfortable for me. And I couldn't sit at the couch where it was more comfortable because this needs to rest against like a table or something. And my coffee table is too low. And I could sit at my sewing desk downstairs, but it was cold. And sometimes I don't want to sit down there. I'd like to be up here. So anyways, long story short, I went looking online and at yarncanada.ca, I bought myself a loom stand. So now it's on its own stand. It's got a little footrest. It's nothing spectacular, but it's made by Ashford and it matches my loom. And now I can tilt it up and down like this. So it stands up on its own. And then this just rests on my lap when I'm doing it. And I can sit anywhere. So now I sit on my couch and visit with my family while I'm, working away. And I can now take it downstairs to the family room and watch them, like sit in my cozy chair that I'm in right now and have a show on and be watching a movie with my husband while also doing this if I don't feel like knitting or whatever. So definitely very happy that I invested in a loom stand because now I can actually get some weaving done. And I really love this. So if anybody's interested in that, I do think that they were behind with all of the COVID stuff and shipping delays and all that. It is a little harder to find looms right now. But I think I got my loom, like I said, at Knit City, but when I was on Yarn Canada looking for a stand, I think they had some looms. And what I really like about this one is that they recommended me, they have 2 sample it looms. So basically they're beginner looms, but they have a 10-inch one and a 16-inch. And he said, don't go with a 10-inch because you'll outgrow that one right away. Like you'll do 2 scarves and you'll want to go wider and you can't. So the nice thing is that this one's a 16-inch, so it's only 6 inches wider, but it has 2 places on this, on the loom itself for two of these, 2 reeds. So you can actually, I don't know how to do it. He didn't demonstrate it. So next time I find a place that can, I'm going to ask, but you can put 2 reeds on here and you can make a double width. So this is actually can go up to 32 inches, I believe, because you double weave it. So I don't know. I have no idea what he was talking about, but I do see that there are places for both. is room for two reeds. So that means nothing to you, means nothing to me. But if it ever means something to me, I will let you know. So that's what I've been up to yarny issues, yarn-wise, yarny. That's all my yarny things. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. That has been taking up the majority of my time is that I did this and I did this and then I've been cross-stitching like crazy, actually. I'm trying to decide, do we want to go into cross-stitch or should we do Midknit minute for a minute? For a moment? Midknit minute for a moment? I thought, I don't know. Oh. Anyways, let's do that. And then all the yarn stuff will be together and then we'll do the cross stitch. So for today, I brought you some good, yummy things that we just released in the shop. Let's see if I can do this without like completely mussing everything up. I've got pom-poms to show, but for Oh, lots of pom-poms. So we just did a small update in the shop. So we don't do like updates, like typical updates where, you know, we have nothing in the shop and then everything's in the shop and then there's nothing in the shop again. Everything is orderable all the time except for like specialty things. So like these are new. We just updated and we just put these in the shop. It's our hefty bulky weight. So these are like, we got this really plump 2-ply bulky weight, 100% merino, and we were having some fun with these ones. So I've got, I think, eight or 9 varieties. I've got 5 here, 3 here, and I forgot 1 at the shop. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got 9 different colorways. So this one is pesto. So pesto is one of our regular colors. So with the update, we did some just one of a kind, some standard colorways, some tonals, and some repeats from last year. Because last year we did this too, and some of the popular colors that we did last year, we redid this year. So this is pesto, which is a regular colorway in our shop. So it's cream, and then it's got green, and it's got a little bit of pink in there, blue, a mustard color, and I believe, let's see, did I bring all the pom-poms? So each one of these bulkies comes with a pom-pom. And I think this one we paired, we have some pesto with creme brulee. A creme brulee, I hope that's not really actually blowing out that bad. I'm sorry, I can't tell on my laptop. It's always so bright. But this is a really awesome pom-pom. It's like white, but then it's got like these little golden tips. It's so sweet. So this one is by Sheepish Wolf. So Natalie Wolf is the maker of these. And what I love about her pom-poms is she's got this really nice, thick grosgrain ribbon. So it's nice and thick and it stays nice and tied. But also she puts on here a button. Can you see that? It's not like a typical button either. It's oh, there we go. That's better. It's a foam button. So when you put your pom-pom on the top of your hat, you usually pull these strings through, but sometimes it can still be a little bit floppy. So she's secured hers with this foam button. So you put the button on the inside of your hat, and then you put this on the outside of your hat, and you string these through. And then when you tie them in a bow, it's about 1.5 inches diameter. I don't know. It holds the pom-pom nice and flat and nice and firm to the top of your hat. So I really like those. So these, I've got a pesto with the creme brulee. We also have pesto with slate, which is this really awesome smoky green gray pom-pom. I love this pom-pom, and I really like it with pesto. I think it's really fun. So this one is a Sheepish Wolf one as well. Not that it matters. Each one of these comes with a pom-pom that we've paired with it that looks the best, we think. So you can be rest assured that you will get an awesome pairing. Purple. Uh-oh, did I forget my purple pom-pom? Oh, dang it. I was the most excited to show you this one, and I forgot my purple pom-pom. Well, that's lame. You can find it online, but I have this new one. It's a brand new, it's just like a one of a kind for the bulky. It's got this really fun dusty purple and the beautiful golden brown. I think we call this one golden mauve. My names are like super spectacularly unique right now. Golden mauve is that one. Then we've got Secret Garden, because I love Secret Garden on every base, and bulky turned out amazing too. And what did I pair with that one? I think we've paired a cherry cola pom-pom with those. And these ones are Rose and Pearl. So Stacy Osborne is the maker of these ones. She's Rose and Pearl, and she makes amazing pom-poms as well. This is usually who we use. Sheepish Wolf is a new to us company that we just got this year. But these are hers. And she's got these awesome ties. These don't come untied. They're like a jersey knit tie. They don't come with like a button, but I've had one of these on my hats. And what I do to keep it sturdy is either you can put your own button in, Or what I do is I don't put these through like the very center hole. I put one end on one side of the hole and one side on the other side of the hole. And then when I pull the ends through and tie it, it's nice and sturdy. And you don't notice like the puckering because the pom-pom is so stinking huge. I think these are 5-inch pom-poms is what we ordered this time. So this is the cherry cola and it goes with the Secret Garden. I think. I can't really remember. I should have looked that up too. So that's those ones. And then we did some tonals. So we also have a gray that I didn't bring because I forgot it, but we have these. So we have Petal and we have Afternoon Tea. So both of these are quite popular in the shop on our other bases. So we thought, well, people were asking for tonals. So these are the ones that we put up. What did I pair with them? Petal gets another Sheepish Wolf one. This one is Cherry Blossom. Yep, Cherry Blossom. It's this fun two-toned pom-pom. And it goes with the Petal, which is super fun. Really love this one. And then this one, Afternoon Tea, I believe it goes with the pom-pom. Oh, this one. This one is called Quartz. You can see it's mostly gray, but they all have like this little flick of gold. And so we paired it with the Afternoon Tea golden one because I thought it was just really pretty and it picks up that little gold floof. So most of the poms are gray. So you can see like as you go around, it's mostly gray, but just the one side has this awesome golden floof. And I really like that. So that's Quartz by Rose and Pearl with Afternoon Tea. What else have we got here? These ones, I guess. Yeah, so these are 3 fun ones that we kind of these 2 were repeats from last year, and then this one was a new one. So this one I think I called Raspberry, and it's this beautiful, like bright red purple with navy blue speckles, and it looks like super vibrant in person. I really like it. It's muted out a little bit here, but it's super fun. And we've paired it with a Rose and Pearl pom-pom called Magnolia, which has got like these flicks of red and flicks of black, and it's a really fun. So 2 of them are with Magnolia and 2 of them are paired with a black Rose and Pearl pom-pom. It's like really super fluffy. So that's those. And what else have I got here? I've got so many different kinds. Okay, so then we have this one, which is again, super naming here. It's gray, or no, it's burgundy navy. One of a kind burgundy navy. And yeah, so it's got this really beautiful red purple, a deep navy, and then it's got this gorgeous, it's the same color as our silk stockings colorway. So it's kind of like a golden pink, like a rose gold color, and then the navy and that. And then we've paired it again with a cherry cola pom-pom. So I don't know if the colors are really true or not. I'll find out when I edit this, but our pictures are online. We have all the pictures on Instagram, and then they're all available online. So they're a much better representation of color than what I'm getting right now, I think. And then the last one is this one, and it is called, I named it Bright Orchid, I think, because it's based on a picture of an orchid that's obviously been like photoshopped, but it's amazing. And so that was my inspiration. So that's what I named it. And it's got like these beautiful red purpley colors, same as the one that's in here. It's got gold and yellows. It's got aqua. It's got orange. It's got black. I really like it. This one is like our most popular one. We had it last year, sold out, had it this year. It sold out once already, and now I've added more to the shop. So it's a really good one. I really want to see like a white skein held with it, and then this is an accent color throughout, like as a cool stitch. So I think I'm going to dye extra these so I can have one. So I didn't get one last year and I regretted it. So you know, it's like, not like I can't dye it myself, but I just never do. So, and we paired it with a black pom-pom. Actually, that's a lie. We had it with black pom-poms, and now I do. Again, we updated and we have more with black pom-poms, but I actually did 2 of them with black, and 2 of them will have the cherry cola, because I really like the cherry cola with it too. So that's that. So that is our bulky update. That seems like every November we bring out some bulky. So we have got those in the shop right now. And they'll just stay there until they sell out. And if they keep selling out, then we'll just keep adding. Yeah, if there's any particular colors that you think would make a really good bulky, just let us know. You never know, that might be able to happen. And yeah, because it's always fun to get fresh ideas. Sometimes you get kind of stuck in your ways. Let me just clean up all the pom-poms. And I'm really sad that I forgot my purple one. I had a really cool purpley colored one from Sheepish Wolf, and it went to go in my basket, and it must have fallen out, which is really sad. Hopefully I didn't lose it somewhere. And yeah, it goes really good with this one. I actually dyed this one specifically, this purple one I called Golden Mauve. I dyed that one specifically to go with the purple pom-pom because it was awesome. But there we go. I can't do anything about it now. And that's it for yarn. That's it for knitting. That's it for weaving. So if you guys are not interested in cross stitch, then thank you for joining me for this portion. And if you want to see what I've been working on and what my family's been working on, then stick around and we will talk about that. So where to start? I don't even know. Should I start with what my family's been working on? I guess that's what's on top. So that's where we'll start. So I was showing you guys last week what my husband was working on, which is those hot air balloons. And he's gotten quite a bit farther. He's got 2 balloons. And last week I also had said, like, I was wondering why I had measured this out and I'd found him the middle point. But then when I was looking at it last week, I noticed that this balloon wasn't at the middle point. It was moved over a little bit. And I was worried. I'm like, shoot, did I mismeasure it? So I asked him afterwards and he said, no, I didn't mismeasure it. He purposely moved it over because he wanted, here, I'll take it out again. Last time he's like, I don't remember taking it out. Why isn't it in the thing? Just me. Let's see if I can get it out here. Second. There we go. Okay. Try not to lose his needle on here. So he decided that he wanted this balloon off center and then this one a little closer. And then he's got a third balloon and he's going to put it a little farther away, like more like they're in the sky and, you know, because they're obviously not going to all be exactly even in the sky or as close to each other and stuff. So anyways, that's his artistic, his changes that he's making. And each of these balloons were actually separate files. So he could arrange them however he wanted on his stitches. So he's pretty close to being done the second one now. The first one still needs its back stitching. It gets some like fancy, you know, yellow throughout for like the ropes because these are like old-fashioned balloons. So where the ropes would be and the ropes that attach the balloon, he has to add yet. And then this one he's got to finish the basket, but I think this part is done. And then he's got another one, and I can't remember if it's an orange balloon or a purple balloon. I don't remember what color the balloon is for that one, but yeah, he's doing awesome. I really like them. I think they're very cool. So when he gets them done, we'll frame them and we'll put them up somewhere. And I like that he didn't, you know, he thought outside the box a little bit. Probably if I did it, I would have just lined them all up like even, but he wanted it to look more like, you know, if you saw balloons floating in the sky, then, you know, obviously they wouldn't be even. So that's his update. That's his project. And he's really liking that. Like he was working on that big, huge one here. I'll see if it's easily grabbable or not. This one here in this bag. He's been working on this one. lava something. I can't remember what it's called, but the big blocks of colors were getting, like, he's still got to do all in here and a lot of up in here. It was just getting boring, I guess. So he wanted something else. So that's why he grabbed the smaller ones, and he's been working on those like crazy. He's really enjoying that project right now. So, yeah, so that's what he's been working on. And then, like I was mentioning last time, both of my girls have picked up cross stitch. And so they've been working away. And my younger daughter, I don't remember if I was talking about this last time or not. She had started this cross stitch on some Monaco fabric that I had washed, and the holes, it shrunk enough that it was hard for her to work with, and she wasn't really liking it. So I happen to have some Joblin left over from a project that I'm working on, and we switched it out. And so unfortunately, she had already done all the cotton candy on her old piece, and she was really disheartened that she was now going to have to start again. So I cross-stitched this cotton candy back on. Not all of it, just to the point where she was. I just did exactly like what she had already marked off. I redid. And so she was able to just pick up her project and get going. So this is 20 count Joblin. So it is tiny. But she can see it fine, and when she put it in the hoop, it really stretched out the holes, and so she actually finds it quite easy to work with, and she's really liking it. She did half stitches, so she's learned half stitches. She's learned how to blend fibers, blend colors. Like some of these are like one strand of one color floss and one strand of the other. Half stitches. Did I say half stitches? Yeah, half stitches. Yeah, so anyway, she's doing excellent. So she's done the handle. She's done this bar. She's done the cotton candy, and this little jar is completely done. It's only meant to have like the illusion of glass, like it's not all filled in. And now she's working on one of the barber poles. There'll be another barber pole and then the awning. So that's what she's working on. So she's doing really good. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but yeah, really impressed with her working on that, and she's enjoying it. She's itching to start another one. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery had a sale about 2 weeks ago now. It was before Black Friday. I don't remember why they were having it early, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery was having a sale, and she had a couple of items on her wish list. So she got one that was called Tea Time. And it's just like a little circle. It says tea time in the middle. And then it's got like teacups and like fancy desserts around the edge. And she really wants to start that. I'm like, no, because this is like her third one that's on the go already. So she has gotten the cross stitch bug, and she wants to cast everything on or start everything. And I'm like, slow down. She gets it from me, I know, but oh well. And then my older daughter, Evelyn, has been working on a jar, and I think I showed it to you last month. But she's gotten a lot farther on hers. So this is her jar, and these will be her dragons. Last time I could not remember what they were, and it's a Night Fury and a Light Fury. The Night Fury's name is Toothless. The Light Fury doesn't have a name because she was never a pet. That's How to Train Your Dragon, if any of you were wondering. It's a cartoon for kids, but it's an awesome movie, so you should watch it even if you're not a kid. But yeah, so anyways, she loved this one because it looked like Toothless and then the Light Fury. So let's see. So there is going to be a lot of back stitching in this one, which is surprising for the size that it is. But the designer, whoever designed this one, she has, all of her jars have an immense amount of back stitching, but they always look amazing. That's her pattern. The designer name is here. Irina Konoplich. She's Russian. I don't speak Russian, so I'm butchering her name. But anyways, I bought the pattern on Lola Lotta Shop. I'll put that down at the bottom. Okay, so I bought it at Lola Lotta shop on Etsy, but shortly after, like within a week of me buying it, the designer or the person who owned that shop, she switched to her own website and off of Etsy. So you can't get it on Etsy anymore, at least not from Lola shop. But you can get this pattern from Irina Kopelich's Etsy shop. She has one herself, and it's called Max Stitch, MAXSTITCH. I will put a link down below, like a description and a link to her shop. So I believe it's Max Stitch on Etsy, so maxstitch.etsy.com. And you can get her the jar there and a bunch of the other jars that she has. She's got like 60 or 80 or something designs with the jars. So there's lots. And so for my project that I showed you last month, I was making out of this book, Bears and Blossoms by Leisure Arts. Like I said, it's like a 20-year-old book, at least. I have no idea how long it had been sitting at Michael's. There's no date, like print date in here. How to read charts. Oh, 2000. So 21 years old. So it's in this book. I have no idea if it's still in print. Sorry for anybody who likes it. Maybe I'll sell it one of these days because I'm pretty much think I'm done making out of it. Anyways, I wanted to make the little bear floating in the kite. And so I did. And I finished it. So now, oh, it's wrinkled. But now it needs to be fully finished. Can you see? So cute. I love him so much. So I made some mistakes on here. Or not mistakes. Yes, mistakes. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Mistakes and some changes. Because my piece of material wasn't super big. I mismeasured. So obviously this edge is a little farther away from this edge. The changes I made, I changed the color of the kite. It was supposed to be orange and I didn't have the colors. So I changed to this coral because I needed 3 colors that were like gradient. And so I changed to this coral color. These up here, these clouds, they were supposed to be half stitches, and I got like 3/4 of the way through like this when I finally reread the pattern properly and realized they were supposed to be half stitches and I had done full stitches. And I'm like, I am not ripping all of that out. So they became full stitches, and so my clouds are all as full as each other. The other change I made was the birds. Oh, well, this cloud down here, not that you can tell, it was supposed to be farther down, but it would have been too close. If I would have followed where it was in the pattern, they would have been really close to this edge, like I said, because I had a smaller piece of fabric than what was called for. So I moved these clouds up, and then I had to move where the birds were because the birds then fell into a different place. So I ended up removing one of these little bows. Has a bow for, it was supposed to have one more bow over here, but then it was too close to the bird. So yeah, I put the little birds in and I changed them. They were supposed to be brown like the bear, but I changed them to be bluebirds. So I looked up, I Googled a picture of bluebirds, found the color that matched them pretty good. And bluebirds have like a red face and a pink belly. So I changed the face and the belly to be the same colors that were in the kite. So everything, and this blue that's here actually is the same blue that's up in these clouds. And I really like how it turned out. I'm super happy with it. This little bear is so cute. And you can't tell really, but he has back stitching like little fluffs around his belly and his feet. And the strings were a pain. They're like backstitch strings, and I can't even tell you how many times I put a stitch in, then thought that the angle was too sharp and had to like pull it out. And so basically I just did my own. I followed the general guide of where it said to put the stitches in and like the shape, but it was mostly freehanded where I put the stitches in, just to so that it would have like a nice, there wasn't any jagged bits. so that the string just kind of gently flowed. And I'm really, really happy with him. So, and I also started something new. I put my initials, JS, which is actually how I sign my name. So that's why it just looks like a squiggle. JS21 for the year. Never done that before, but I've seen it, people doing it on Flosstube, and I thought, that's smart because I have some old cross stitches. I have no clue when I finished them, how old I was. So it's kind of cool to have like something just to kind of keep it as a remembrance thing, or like just some information, so that even if my kids, if I pass this down to them one day, they'll know when it was made. So I'm going to have to do that. I've got this one that Look for Rainbows. It's still sitting in here. I'm going to fully finish it quite like soon because I couldn't before. I went to Michael's and I bought the things that I needed for finishing. Like I bought the frame and I bought pins, and then I forgot to buy the foam board. And I thought, whatever, I can get foam board at Walmart. And so I hadn't bought it at Michael's. And then when I got to Walmart, they had foam board, but it was just like cheap stuff. I was looking for Elmer's because I knew that that's a good brand, and they didn't have any. They had some cheap stuff, and they had like trifold boards, but not just like the big pieces of foam board. And they weren't acid free, and you need to have acid free because if you don't use acid free for your stitching or for scrapbooking or whatever, eventually the acids in the paper and stuff like that will start discoloring your work. And so you don't want, obviously, to do all the stitching and then have it discolor over time, right? It'll yellow and it'll just be bad. So I needed acid-free foam board, and Walmart didn't carry that. And so I ran over to Staples, and they didn't carry that. And then I was looking, I'm like, okay, fine. It's like, I'm going to have to buy it on Amazon. And I'm like, well, rather not buy from Amazon. But anyways, and especially like a big board, like how do you ship that without it getting damaged to like beyond recognition, right? So I had to wait. And then last time I went into the city, I went to Michael's because I found it online. Like I went onto their website and it said that, what aisle it was in. So I was able to go get 2 sheets of foam board because it comes in 2 sheets. So I've got enough foam board to last me for like 30 cross stitches. So now I was going to do it, but I got so busy, like involved in like knitting this and loom and cross stitching that I forgot. So now I can, but yes, now I have the foam board. I have the pins. I have the frame. I'm kind of out of excuses. So I guess I'm going to have to do it. My biggest excuse is I've never done one before, so it's a little intimidating, but I'll figure it out. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have any haul to show you or anything of interest that way, because I did buy some patterns, but they were digital patterns. So I can't really show you. I have nothing to like show you, no physical copies. I bought myself a pattern. I bought 4 patterns. I bought 4 patterns from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery when they were having their sale. So my daughter, like I said, she got Tea Time, which is super cute. Then Evelyn got something. What did she buy? Oh, she bought one, or she's got one coming, or she's going to start one, and it says pumpkin spice and everything nice. It's like a little square and it's super cute. And she was really debating between that one and another one of the squares. But she really liked the pumpkin spice one, and she's had her eye on it for a couple of years now. So I'm like, well, and then she saw the other one, and then there was a debate. I'm like, which one are you going to be really sad that you didn't get? And she's like, I really want the pumpkin spice one. I'm like, go ahead and get that one. Like, why is this a debate? So that's the one that she picked. And then I got one, they're doing a stitch along right now, which I'm not doing it as a stitch along because I'm already like, well, I'm only 2 clues behind and it probably wouldn't take that long. So maybe I could catch up. But I'm doing one, or I bought one called Maple Lane, and it's a mystery stitch along, but it looked adorable. So far it's like a little coffee house or coffee station, and a little girl buying coffee like a customer with like a phone booth behind her. It's really cute. No idea what the other 3 clues are. Well, one will say something about Maple Lane because all the other ones this is the 4th in a series. I'm not getting the first 3, but this one looked really cute and I love coffee. So, yeah. So anyways, I believe the 5th clue will say something like welcome to Maple Lane or something like that. But the other 2 clues for the actual stitching, I'm not sure what's going to be. So it's pretty cute so far. The first 2 clues have been released. So I've been looking and I'm like, okay, that's cute. So I bought that. And then the other one, I think, it was like a yearly stitch along from 2018 or 17. And it might be, I don't remember which one I bought. I was going to get Animal Almanac, but then I changed my mind and I got, Welcome to Pumpkinville is the one I got. And it's all the little shops in the town. And like, there's the yarn shop and there's like the library and the post office and the coffee shop and the bakery and the ice rink. And oh my goodness, they are so stinking adorable. Like each one of these little scenes was a month clue. So it was like a year-long stitch along, kind of like a calendar one. And yeah, so it's like a little person is doing something in each one of those scenes. And oh my goodness, it's so cute. I might not do the full thing, like all 12. I might pick my favorite 4 or 5 and do them in a row. I don't really know yet, but I do love them all. So I probably end up stitching them all at some point. So I may as well just do it in one big, we'll find. I don't know. But those were my pattern purchases. And what else did I start or do? I did start another one. Glutton for punishment. This is ridiculous, actually. I started this. Can you tell what it is? No? It's an eyeball. Like, legit. It's gonna be a big giant eyeball. Here, let me show you the pattern. I don't know. I love watercolor and I saw this and I have a recipient in mind that I think would be perfect, like who would love this, but I'm just debating about, it's like, it's so much work to do cross stitches. And this is linen. Shoot, what kind of linen was it? Oh, maybe I have my package down here. These are all my threads that I need for it. I can't remember how many there are, but I've got them on bobbins. And of course, they're covering I have no threads because this wasn't sealed. And I just shook it upside down and all my flosses are all over the floor. I thought this was sealed and it wasn't. Well, that was really stupid. Anyways, welcome to my life. I am using now you can see the thing, which was the whole point. I'm using... And you can't read that. I'll just tell you what I'm using. Newcastle linen 40 count. So this is like super duper tiny and it hurts my eyes. So I don't know. Look at this. I got the stupid bobbins everywhere now. I've got them everywhere. Like I shook my bag upside down trying to like move them so I could get this information and they all just spilled everywhere. So hopefully you guys, such a moron. Anyways, what was I saying? This is very tiny, 40 count. I've never worked with anything so small and I find that my eyes get really tired and like they're straining. So I did make another purchase and I will show them to you when I get them. They're kind of ridiculous. They're like a big honkin' like glasses that's strapped to your head that have like magnifying glasses that you can switch out. Like you can unhook and put like different intensities of magnifying glasses. So I'm going to look amazing when I'm cross stitching, like all the lights shining down. Oh, and it has 2 lights, like LED lights that like you can point. So I'm going to be like looking down at my cross stitch and with these big honking magnifiers on. And I'm telling you, I am the sexiest cross stitcher you'll have ever seen. But if it keeps my eyes from being strained and letting me do my craft longer, then so be it. It's like, what's my husband going to do? He's been married to me for 17 years. He's seen all of it. So, so I got that. And then the other thing I got was kind of a splurge. I wanted to get, I've been hearing a lot about an app called Pattern Keeper. And it's because it's like a lot of my, well, all my patterns really are digital patterns. And so trying to look at my phone or print them off was kind of annoying. And so I've been hearing a lot about this program called Pattern Keeper. And it's only for Android. And of course, like my kids have Android tablets, but they won't let me borrow it. That's rude. They would let me borrow it, but a lot of times I want to be stitching and they're playing on their tablets. And so it's not really fair for me to like, hey, like you're not allowed to play because I want to stitch. So I went on like Best Buy and I found a refurbished tablet. This is a Lenovo something, Lenovo 10, something like that. Anyways, so I could download Pattern Keeper and it's awesome. So if you are a cross stitcher and you use digital patterns, I really recommend this. So let me show you. You can import your patterns. See here, I've got my frosted pumpkin stitchery. So some patterns aren't compatible with Pattern Keeper. Like it won't, you can open up all your patterns with Pattern Keeper, but the really awesome thing about this program is, like for example, okay, this one works. So here in the top, you can see I've got 3 different choices. I've got this little arrow that it's right now is on. So that way I can like scroll my pattern and see what I'm working on. So that's really cool. But the really awesome part is here I can, it tells you down the side. Oops, if I turn it, it's going to rotate. It tells you down the side how many stitches you've done, how many stitches are in your pattern, and like what percentage you're done. You can then highlight stitches that you've stitched and hit the check mark. And it highlights them, like it marks them off. And then your things changes. So like right now I just highlighted and changed these and it says 26 stitch today. I'm now 0.76% done this pattern. So all that was a lie. So I just need to unhighlight those. And then I can frog it. Can you see that? There's a little frog. I can poke that and it deletes those. So now it says I've worked 0 stitches today. But the really cool thing is like it has your legend in there, like your color stitches. Boy, that's blowing out. It's got your colors in there. It's got, yeah, so it's like a pattern marking app specifically for cross stitch. So like a lot of people use like Goodreads or other things like that, which you can, mark your stitches with your finger and like a highlighter pen or highlighter tool on the app, like a PDF kind of a PDF markup thing. But this one is specifically for cross stitch and you can like highlight individual boxes. Another really fun thing is that you can click on a symbol. Like I can do that little search one here that's now lit up and say I want to see where are all my H's, all my symbol that is H. It will light all of them up. And then I can go and I can zoom out and now I can see where all those stitches in my entire pattern are. And it will also tell me how many. So this is H, my symbol H is DMC 436, and I have 235 of those stitches in this pattern. And yeah, so I can have it highlighted. So it's very, very, very user-friendly. Oh my goodness, it's a game changer when I use digital patterns. Like I said, not all patterns, like my frosted pumpkin stitchery one wasn't compatible. Like I can read the chart, but it didn't import my threads. So now I have to have like a separate paper copy of my thread colors. So I can still highlight individual boxes, but I can't do like the search, and I can't do it that way, but you can still use the app. So yeah, so this was my big splurge of, it wasn't even that expensive, but it was just like, I bought a tablet specifically to use an app for cross stitch. So it was a little frivolous, but if it makes my life easier, it makes my life easier, right? So if you have an Android, I really recommend trying that app. Like I said, it's called Pattern Keeper. It is not available for Apple devices, only Android right now. She has been saying that she's trying to get it for Apple, but she's just one person and it's been a couple of years, and I think it's kind of like not going to be for Apple. So, but yeah, if you have a tablet or something like that that can use it, I really recommend that. I mean, and I did not show you how awesome it was, but there are quite a few like YouTube that I found out about it through a couple of Flosstubes, and then I looked up YouTube videos on like how to use Pattern Keeper, and I was sold. It is a paid for app. I mean, you do get 30 days free trial to try it out. I tried it out. Each of my girls have their patterns on it. Thankfully, the patterns that they purchased, they didn't purchase, the patterns that they're working on did work with Pattern Keeper. So I was able to import their threads. And so everything works on the program like it should. So they are loving it. So yeah, so they got each, so I bought it 4 times. One for every tablet, because my husband uses it too, because he thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. So yeah, my girls use the Pattern Keeper. I use it, my husband, and yeah, highly recommend it if you're a stitcher. So I think that's it for this week. I'm quite certain that I have nothing else to share. I've been blabbing on long enough. I'm sure you guys want to go do something else with your day. So I'm going to go. I'm going to do some stitching, maybe get my husband to take me out on a date. We'll see. And I don't know what else. But it's Friday, so I have a whole weekend to do absolutely nothing but craft. So I hope you all are doing really well, and I will see you guys in a month. Bye.